Masonic Light Podcast. This is Past Master Moyer calling in with my review of episode 82 with Brother Barry Banks. Jack Harley, that's quite a story, an experience you had on your vacation in Maine. I can't imagine what it's like to almost die twice. You better get that daughter-in-law something really special at Christmas time. Glad you didn't succumb to your follies in the water. Let's see, what else did I have? Everything was very, very good. The interview with Barry was very interesting. Enjoyed his talk about how he got involved with Freemasonry and the amount of effort he had to put into it versus the lodge. Maybe Pennsylvania should take a cue from that. Stephen's Lodge Business Brief was good. I enjoyed the tip from the crypt with Tim Dedman. And I guess the last thing, of course, I have to pick on Larry. Larry, I appreciate your mentioning my name when you were discussing our adventure in Milwaukee. But then you went downhill very, very quickly when you offered advice to that newly raised Master Mason, I believe in Georgia, when you said take a nap, sleep on it, and think about it later. Because then you must have taken a nap, because towards the end of the episode, when they asked you if it was rabbit season or hunting season, you had no clue where you were at. So once again, Merris, you are up putz. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Light Podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons, and is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 86.
86.
86. Larry, wake up. Episode 86.
I've been noticing how long we've been in the studio, and for the first time, I've seen baseboard heating going all the way around. How come it doesn't work?
It didn't have an opportunity to. You had the other ones on 94.
We don't even have a thermostat in this room. I mean, how again?
You know, that's a good question. I have no idea how to turn that on. All right, well.
Where's Jack Harley when you need him?
We have to pay extra for that.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome. Episode 86. And we've got actually two guests in studio today, so it's going to be a really good show. We have brothers Rick Santella and Steve Morrison. The main focus of the show is going to be High 12 International. But we may get some Valley of Philadelphia questions in here, too. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, kind of the the stupid format we use because we don't know anything better. We just we'll go around. If you've had anything cool go on in the past couple weeks Masonically, just tell us what you did, and then we'll go to a commercial, and then we'll come back and do an interview. So, Tim, you go first. What have you been up to?
Well, the coolest thing was at our last stated meeting of Eureka West Shore Lodge number 302, which was on the first Monday of the month. As secretary, I actually read 10 petitions. 3 of them were for initiation of membership, and 7 were transfers. And the significance of that is
So you're taking my advice to grow your lodge. You're poaching
That's
from
right.
other lodges?
We're poaching other lodges, big time. No, actually, in November, that's the time if you're going to transfer in the state of Pennsylvania, that's the night you want your petition read, because it has to lay over a month and voted on in December, and you don't generate a dues obligation in your former lodge. And so when guys come in February and March and whatever, I'm like, you can do this, but you're going to owe double dues for a year. Or you can just come back and see me in November, and we'll make it happen that way. So
you're gaming the system.
We're gaming the system.
All right, that's how do you get on the bad list at the.
Well, that's all right. We're keeping the finances all good. So,
all right,
that's the big thing.
All right, Rick, what have you been up to the past couple of weeks in Masonically? You're probably doing a lot of travel with High 12.
Doing a lot of traveling, getting to see the sites out in the Pennsylvania area. Yesterday we had our stated meeting at Gerard Mark Lodge, which, if you don't know, is the Mark Lodge. And we're gearing up for Saturday. We're having a big reunion at Valley, Philadelphia this Saturday morning.
Nice. And Steve, what do you have going on?
Well, I'm pretty much the same as Rick. I'm the secretary of Gerard Mark Lodge. We had our stated meeting last night. Our worshipful master's having some health issues, so our senior warden's taking over for the rest of the year. But he's doing a good job. In our Mark Lodge, we have a lot of New Jersey Masons.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, our current worshipful master, or acting worshipful master, I should say, it's always interesting when he opens the lodge because he informs the pursuivant. The pursuivant to go see the Tyler. So that's always.
Is that the Cerno rite or what?
Well, it's the New Jersey rite. So, and then as Rick said, we have our Scottish Rite reunion on Saturday. We're doing the 14th, 15th, 16th, 14th, 15th, 18th, and 32nd degrees.
Nice.
Because we started back in October. We did the 4th and the 13th in our new Masonic or Scottish Rite Education Committee. They're going to do a presentation after the 14th degree, linking the 13th and 14th together. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
So that would be the 27th degree.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Larry?
Not a whole lot, Pete. I've been kind of decommissioned with having dental surgery a couple of weeks ago, and so I've been.
Have you lost any weight from not eating?
Yeah, I really had 2 pounds. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
When all you can eat is noodles and soup, you're not going to gain any weight.
Okay. Did you do Goose and Gridiron last week?
Yeah, Goose and Gridiron. I don't even like to talk about it because it's.
Did you go to High 12 last week?
No, I did not.
Well, it's thanks.
We're going to really tease us up well for the show tonight.
Going to breakfast and then going to High 12 about 2.5 hours later is a little bit much. So.
We're going to work on them.
I'm just happy he remembered the name of the High 12 club.
Only because you remembered it.
I don't even know when I was here last.
You were here at the last show.
So, did I talk about Erie?
No.
I was in Erie for Grotto. Oh,
yes,
I missed,
you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I was, it's Erie. Yeah, there you go. Last weekend I was with a bunch of Masons down in Baltimore, which was a good time. I'm getting ready also for reunion season. Larry, you're in what, the 16th?
17th.
And I'm in the 16th.
You're in the 16th.
Yeah, so I'm like a shrub or something. I don't have a speaking part.
And you and I are going to be crazy because mine goes on at 1:15 supposedly, and until that's over with, maybe about. And I got to fly home right after that to get ready to go to
the York Grand Hall Ball.
Grand Hall Ball. Oh.
Yeah, and I think I'm also going to play the part of the candidate for the Rose Croix something. So.
I'm in the 5th and 32nd coming up.
So at least I don't have to wear tails. I'll either be in my costume or I'll be in just a business suit, which is nice. Josh, what do you have going on?
Well, I joined Grotto.
Yes, you did.
Hey,
he was the exemplar.
Yeah, I was.
How did you like our thespianism?
Oh, it was fun.
Okay,
I liked it.
That sounded convincing.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
It was fun, right?
Yeah.
Everything you imagined?
Oh yeah.
Right.
That reminded me, I did go to Grotto.
Yeah, we were all in Grotto.
I don't remember too much. I picked up Victor Mann, who is the not Captain of the Guard, Grand Master of Grand Venerable Prophet this year. I picked him up at the train station, and I showed him all the good sights of Lancaster County. And then we showed up, so I missed a lot.
You were there.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about maybe one of the lesser-known Masonic organizations. But hopefully it'll be more well-known when we're done. High 12 International.
Thank you.
At the Historic Smithon Inn of Ephrata, Pennsylvania, we're pleased to serve the latest creations from Weathered Vineyard Winery, along with spirits from Thistlefinch Distillery in Lancaster, all to be experienced in the tasting room of a beautifully restored 18th century bed and breakfast. Cigars by D&S Cigar are available for your enjoyment in the courtyard. The Historic Smithon Inn is convenient to Lancaster County's most interesting attractions, just minutes from the Ephrata Cloister and the Green Dragon Farmers Market. And a short drive can get you to charming Lidditz, thriving downtown Lancaster, as well as Hershey, Bird in Hand, and Intercourse, or Valley Forge in Gettysburg, Whether you're looking for a romantic getaway or an active vacation full of sightseeing and attractions, the Historic Smithon Inn will be a welcoming oasis from everyday life, one that you'll want to visit again and again. Stop in and visit at 900 West Main Street in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, or check out our website at historicsmithtoninn.com, or simply call us at 717-733-6094. Just ask for Past Master Dave.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. So in our studio today, we have brothers Rick Santella and Steve Morrison. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Rick, can you tell our listeners a little bit about High 12?
I'm so glad you asked me that question.
It's a surprise that I asked you. Yes.
It's very insightful. High 12 is an organization, a Masonic organization. It's more considered the social element of Freemasonry, where we gather together in fellowship at any restaurant or location or venue of our choice. Any Master Mason is welcome to attend. We ask that they bring their ladies with us, and one of the good things about it is no ritual involved. So what we're finding is we have a lot of Master Masons who want to get the experience of leadership in a venue, and they can go through and become a club president and gain that experience before they go on to Blue Lodge, chapter, council, what have you. What we represent is we do youth group support through Dee Malay, Job's Daughters, and Rainbow. And one of our signatures is we support what's called the Walcott Foundation. Walcott Foundation was started by the founder of High 12, Wally Walcott, and it provides fellowships for those who have interest in government service. So they award the fellowships to these Walcott recipients, and I think the average GPA is like 3.8 to even get considered with this. And the stipulation is you have to serve at least 2 to 4 years of government service afterwards. So we're big with that. Also, in the state of Pennsylvania, we have a unique charity that we started just a couple of years ago called the High 12ian Society, where the money raised from that, the income generated from that, supports our travel expenses for the youth groups. So we're doing a lot of work out there, raising money for Walcott and for the High 12ian. Rick's done a lot with High 12ian. Matter of fact, when it first started, what we were like $7,000 or something like that, and you've got it $3,000. He's got up to over $15,000.
Wow! So this
just on his own, going out doing this presentation.
So for the Dee Malay kids traveling to other Dee Malay chapters, or for
their annual Key Man convention, stuff like that.
Oh, very
for
cool.
Rainbows and Jobies too.
Very nice. So I mean, and obviously with a name like High 12, do all chapters meet at noon?
They don't have to. It started that way back in 1921 for high noon, but the flexibility we love about High 12 is it doesn't have to be at 12 o'clock. It can be we do have some clubs that meet in the early evenings. It could be any day of the week. It could be on a Saturday. You don't necessarily have to dress up for these meetings. And we find that the most success we have with a lot of our clubs is when they invite the ladies. We usually get double, triple attendance when the ladies are involved with these clubs.
Is there an age thing involved? Any restrictions? Or
just have to be a Master Mason in good standing.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Larry and I are in a local High 12 chapter. I believe it's James Buchanan High 12.
It is.
And we meet on Thursdays at noon. So do most chapters meet on weekdays? So, I mean, if they do, I'd imagine it's mainly retired folks, or...
Well, that's a good question. A lot of it is retired. A lot of it is individuals that have an hour to spare during the day if they're in the local area where they work. We find that out in the Liberty Club. A lot of the members there work in Center City, so they just take the bus or just walk on over, have an hour meeting, go back to work. A lot of people that can't drive at night love coming in here, and especially with the ladies, they get to enjoy the hour with that too.
What would you say is one of the biggest challenges with High 12 right now, or what have you faced that you didn't expect before you were in charge?
I can tell you what the biggest challenges are.
Okay.
Because I've been in the line for a couple of years, so I've seen a lot of the things I knew I was going to face. And one of it is, like any organization, especially in Masonic, you need to maintain growth to stay viable. And the other is name recognition. So what I've done this year is I've made several appointments just to be able to help get the word out. And you know as well as I do, you need to attract the youth. So what we've done is, since we do support the youth groups, I've appointed Brother Ken Shin as the state youth representative. And what he does is he's very active in the youth groups. He goes out, he talks about High 12. We attend a lot of their functions together. And through that, a lot of the advisors from these youth groups have approached him and asked to join some of the local High 12 clubs. So we're getting, our name out there. We've done at least a half a dozen presentations in front of Blue Lodges, and we're getting at least hopefully a couple new clubs up and running within the next couple months. They've shown a lot of interest in that. And one of the things that we talked about earlier is the members, the youth members, they're into the iPods, they're into all the social media. So sitting beside me is Brother Steve Morrison, who I appointed as the communications director. Now, Steve runs the Valley Facebook sites and the websites, and he's excellent at this. So I have asked him to help me out during this year. And we have a Facebook site, we have a website started, and we find a lot of people now are starting to come to him and say, hey, can you post this on, about our High 12 club and get the word out? So we're doing that.
We should get him to be our new marketing director.
Yeah, Tim, you're fired.
I don't come cheap, but and also what I'm trying to do is, since everybody nowadays has a phone number, I started delving into call-em alls. So I've played with that a few times, and it's. You'd be surprised. A lot of people haven't been reached before like that.
Well, you were saying, like, as soon as you do the call-em all, you start getting calls with people wondering who you are.
Yeah, this is one of the great feedbacks. If you have a list of 650 names and you put them on the call-em all list, 400 go out, 150 or so come back, and then you get, like, 10 minutes after the call-em all comes out, I get about a string of 25 calls, and they'll call me up, who's this? And, so at least you get to talk to people you haven't talked to in a while, so that's a good plus out of it.
That was actually a learning from our Blue Lodge. We sometimes tell our worshipful master coming in that when he does his first call-em all, don't answer your phone for the hour after you do the call-em all.
Yeah, I had one guy called me up after calling me. He goes, what are you trying to sell me? So it makes for an interesting couple of minutes afterwards.
So now you're president of High 12 Pennsylvania. Is High 12 in all the states?
We have 12 states that we have High 12 club associations, and there's also 6 states that are considered independent. We're also in 3 countries. We're in Japan, United Kingdom, and Italy. So we're starting to get the word out there a little bit more. Pennsylvania, I'm proud to say, is one of the larger state associations. So it makes for it easier when we walk into we have a little bit of an extra sway when we walk in some of the international meetings.
Looks like you have about 16 clubs across the state.
15 right now.
15.
But I'm glad you brought that up because I just got word yesterday that one of our charters came through for a new club in the naval base. We'll be out there installing them on December 3rd. So that'll be our 16th.
And I'm guessing just because of geography, it'd be Philadelphia Naval Base?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not
Northeast
Naval
Philadelphia.
Base and the Gap Lighthouse.
Not the one in the Allegheny Monongahela.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The War of 1812.
Big submarine base there.
Off the Susquehanna.
So that being said, if there's areas that don't have a High 12, and if gentlemen are looking to start a new club, they can reach out to the office and learn the requirements and all that stuff?
Well, one of the other things I've done is Pittsburgh has a huge Masonic presence, and they only have 2 clubs out there right now. So I've asked 2 brothers to become ambassadors for that area, and until I get out there after the holidays, they're working it now. They're doing presentations in their Blue Lodge. They're attending some of the DEMA layout in Pittsburgh. They're getting word out, and from the last heard, he's close to getting another club started out there. We did, Ken Shin, our youth representative, did an interactive map that's on our website and our Facebook, and it shows all the areas where the youth groups have
clubs versus the high 12. And there's a lot of gaps there, which creates a lot of opportunity for us to do that.
Yeah, I know, Larry, one of your first retirement jobs was with SCORE, which, what does this stand for?
Service Corps of Retired Executives.
Yeah, so I mean, I really do think that, high 12 could offer some, really good coaching for some of the kids. That there's a lot of knowledge there, since it in a group that has a lot of retired folks.
Absolutely.
Especially ours.
So yeah,
just remember, we're right across the street from the home.
So yeah, our local high 12 is right across from a retirement community called Brethren Village. So that helps with attendance, but it also it's a little more senior.
You have a terrific turnout in that club. I was there, and you'd get a very nice turnout. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
Yeah, we do.
Congratulations.
And the diner where we meet, they have a nice program too, where I believe 10% of our checks they donate to a Masonic charity. So I don't know whether does High 12 have their own card?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if you have you can pick one. At the Scottish Rite or D. Malay, but at the High 12, I guess that's where some of that money will go to one of your charities.
You remember Bob Maher went around the county and sold that program.
Yes, he did. He's a good man. So now you guys are involved in pretty much all the same stuff we are, but just a little further east, being in Philadelphia. So you're both in the Valley of Reading. I mean, Valley of... I'm sorry. I always say that.
Try that again.
Wow,
the Valley of Philadelphia.
That's not going to go over well.
The Valley of Philadelphia. We've heard of them. And then, Rick, you're also... you're an officer in council?
Past thrice illustrious master.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you guys are involved in? Because it seems like people that are involved in everything.
Well, what I'll tell you won't even compare to what Steve's going to tell you, but, past master, past high priest, past thrice illustrious master, officer in the 18th degree line at Valley of Philadelphia. I'm also a member of Grotto, Shrine, AMD, Knight Masons, and a few other things.
Don't look at me. I don't carry your discords.
It weighs me down. And Steve here is just, I'd like to also mention that Steve not only is a 33rd, but he was just awarded a couple months ago the Distinguished Service Medal from the Sovereign Grand Commander.
Oh, wow.
So
congratulations.
He likes to remind me of that every day, too.
No, I don't.
Well, we had Dave Glatley on the show, too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
so,
he's the one awarded
guy.
him. Yeah.
So we'll confirm. I'll call him tomorrow, and I'll see if.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing every day. Do you have DSM after your name?
I never.
Well,
say
this
that.
show can help. We've learned that it's kind of the pathway to 33rds, right?
Yeah. So
maybe we
Jeff
can,
Moyer and Brian Hill on the show,
and John Cook.
Yeah,
all got him this recently.
It pays to be here.
Yeah.
You're next.
Mark that date.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we'll talk a little bit more to our guests.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate, or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
And we're back. And Rick, tell us a little bit more about what's the President's Club?
President's Club is for those who want to enjoy all the benefits and features of High 12, but can't get to any club. And I'll give you a good example. I have a friend of mine, Rich, who I've known 46 years, lives in Delaware, works in New Jersey. He came out to our annual in May. He was so impressed with the fellowship and the camaraderie that he wanted to sign up. So he is a President's Club member. He gets all the features and benefits. He can go to any High 12 club at any time. And if at some point his work schedule gets a little bit better for him, he can attach himself to a local club if he wanted to.
And Steve, so you're the communications director. So tell us a little bit more about some of your things that you've done or you have going on.
Well, I take care of the PACOD website, which is I said COD, didn't I? Yeah. PAHigh12.org. I take care of their website as well as the Facebook page. Our Facebook page right now has a name that we need to change. It's Member Clubs of Pennsylvania High 12. We're just going to change that to be PA High 12, probably sometime this weekend. We'll get that taken care of. But what we do there is we ask all the clubs to give us information. And so we can post it on the Facebook group or on the website to get people to go out and attend their club meetings. So far, we're getting some resistance on that because a lot of the older fellows, they don't do Facebook, they don't do websites because they're afraid they're going to get a virus or whether their credit's going to get hacked or whatever. That's an issue we continue to face. But we look to do that. As Rick said, we're supporting the Masonic youth, and he mentioned Ken Shin. Ken's wife, Tara, is kind of like his assistant. And Tara will send me. Now, I'm the Valley Secretary of the Valley of Philadelphia, as we said, and I'm quite busy because I'm a one-man show. I don't have a big office like Harrisburg or Reading has. I'm just one guy. And I'll get texts all day from Tara. Post this, post that, post that. And it's all these Rainbow, DMLA, Job Daughter events. And one time I said to him, I says, you got to tell Tara I'll do it, but she's got to give me a break once in a while. I said, because I got other things I got to get done for the Valley. I'm getting all these text messages from her. So he calls her up and says, hey, leave my communications director alone. I get a text message 5 minutes later, snitches get stitches. I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot. So I had to mention Tara because I know she's going to listen to this and she'll be very upset if we don't mention her by name. So Tara, you've been mentioned. But that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to expose High 12 a little bit more on the internet and get people more information about what it's about. Because the one thing Rick has said to me when we first started doing this, when he was getting ready to be president, he said he wanted to see more growth. And not necessarily membership growth, but more club growth, get more clubs going on. Because there's 16 clubs in this state. There could be a heck of a lot more if you figure the space in the areas, especially like in the Harrisburg area. I mean, right before he became president, Harrisburg surrendered their charter. Mm-hmm. And that's a large, like I said, being Secretary of the Valley of Philadelphia, I know what the Valley of Scottish Rite in Harrisburg's like. That's a lot of members. They could probably get more than one club up and running in that area.
And I know all those state employees aren't doing anything. They have plenty of free time.
Well, you see those guys on the turnpike all the time leaning on shovels. I mean, come on. You got But now we talked about we're trying some new approaches. We're gonna talk to the shrines because you got all clubs and units in the shrine. Why not get a High 12 club out of a shrine? We're talking about maybe going to lodges and have your own lodge form its own High 12 club. It's almost like a daylight lodge, but more relaxed. Mm-hmm. We're looking at doing that. There's a group of brothers down in Philadelphia that have been trying since Right Worshipful Past Grand Master Ed Weiser was in office to get a Spanish-speaking lodge going, and they're still in the formation status. They haven't been able to get the lodge up and running. And Rick and I talked about that. And I said, hey, why don't we approach those guys? Maybe they could get a Spanish High 12 up, and that could eventually morph into the lodge. And that would actually give High 12 some quote-unquote street cred because we're going to actually make it show that High 12's helping Masonry. So it's just that we're looking at all different kinds of ideas. Anything's something new. If nobody's ever explored it before or thought about it, we're going to do it.
Larry, why don't you make the Goose and Gridiron the Mountville High 12?
There you go.
And have to be formal.
We did a presentation about a week ago up in Warminster, and Prince Hall was there. And so I approached them afterwards, and they're very big on the concept of establishing a High 12 within Prince Hall. So once they get the go-ahead from their Grand Lodge, I think we're going to see some activity with that too, which is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that was always one of my questions about any of the appendant bodies. If we could, just say like Grotto, if we would be able to admit Prince Hall brothers. But because it's a national organization, there's other states that don't recognize Prince Hall.
Not that many. I think right now Arkansas is like the only holdout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know New York Grotto takes Prince Hall members, and it's great. Because, we have so many men that we're all involved in the same things. It'd be nice literally to meet new guys that were, they could probably live next door to me. I never knew they were Masons.
Right. And the Prince Hall brethren tend to be very enthusiastic, and if you can get them involved, that's going to be growth. That's why we're talking about getting Prince Hall High 12 up and running. And
you were mentioning earlier the charity that you said that I don't want to give him any credit here, but you said that Rick's done a good job with increasing the
for the High 12ian. Yeah, he everywhere he goes, he talks about it, and he always walks away with a donation from the lodge or chapter or wherever he talks about it, and even members, because it costs $100 to join the High 12ian Society, and you get a certificate from. And I know Larry's got a thing about certificates, but you get a certificate, and you also get a nice lapel pin that identifies you.
Oh, we like lapel pins.
Well, there you go.
We're Masons.
So that explains why every time I walk into the Blue Lodge, the treasurer's duck.
Yeah, because he's always like, give me money for High 12. But no, he's doing great with it. He's, like I said, we were at $3,000. He's raised over $15,000 in just 2 years. He's done that.
And that all goes towards the youth and travel.
The travel expenses for the youth groups. Yes,
very neat.
The youth,
because he goes to all their annuals. Like he goes out to Altoona every year for the Job's Daughters and the Rainbow events, and I understand the building out there their meetings in July or August, and the building's not air conditioned.
No air conditioning.
Oh, great.
I'm sorry to our friends in Altoona. I don't think they have internet, so I think it's fine. But what could be worse than Altoona? Altoona with no air conditioning. Well, I guess they get cheap hotels.
Yeah,
it's like $12 a night to stay there.
He doesn't stay. He drives out, drives back. He got pulled over. He got pulled over in the Jersey Turnpike by a state trooper. He wanted to know he was doing a white dinner jacket, coming back at like 2 a.m. He's like, I'm driving back from High 12 or from doing a High 12 presentation at the Pennsylvania State Job's Daughters Convention in Altoona. And the state trooper says, that's ridiculous enough for me to believe.
It worked.
We could do. I think we could do.
Thank you for going there.
Have a nice night. Drive safely.
Yeah, we could probably.
No problem. Again, you can't stay as long. No problem.
We could do a whole show just on guys getting pulled over and the
stories we tell. Yeah.
So there's a lot of upcoming events for High 12. Do you have them memorized or?
I do. Immediately coming up is next Wednesday, November 20th. We're having our quarterly meeting at Shady Maple. And for those, if you've never gone to Shady Maple, the food alone is worth it. And I'm bringing my wife, so I know my budget's going to be blasted on that. They have a shopping center down below. It's about a football field long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And if you folks that are like out of the area, Shady Maple, I believe, is the world's largest
smorgasbord
breakfast theme park.
Oh yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
Feeding trough.
I like that, Josh.
Breakfast mountain.
So I guess it makes sense why we're getting such a huge turnout for the quarterly down there.
It's the only place you can get mashed potatoes, buttered noodles, buttered grits, and what else? It's just total starch.
Well, now they've added stations where you can get steak cooked anyway, omelet stations. So they've really upped their game a lot more.
I do remember they made national news a few years ago. If you can get a discounted price if you recently had the bariatric surgery. They did. There was a discounted price because you can't eat as much.
The reason.
Well, no, they can only eat a little itty bitty pocket full of food.
Burst the belt there.
You go there, you just might as well open a vein and pour the cholesterol directly in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's local, Larry.
Yeah, it is.
We can probably go out and try and interview people between bites.
There you go.
So
what's beyond that?
I'm sorry?
There was something else going, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. The next quarterly we have scheduled is February 19th of next year. We're going to be at the Valley of Reading because we're trying to...
The Valley of Reading.
Yes.
We're trying to expand our presence in High 12. So the Commander-in-Chief, Harry Hackman, has been very supportive with us. He's promised to invite a lot of Master Masons to this event. We're going to pull in a lot of High 12ians from that area. And the Right Worshipful Grand Senior Warden, Larry Durr, will be my featured speaker that day, too.
We know Larry well.
Yeah, Larry was our district deputy. And, yeah, so we get to see Larry a lot.
Yeah, we do.
So needless to say, you're all invited to both events. Just let me know if you want.
I did check my calendar. I know I'm available for one, if not both.
Great.
I didn't check my calendar yet.
He's still hung up on the baseboards.
Larry, that jitterbug phone doesn't have a calendar.
He wants to know how the heat is. It's Shady Maple, probably.
Yeah, I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah, so I walk in the studio, and there are 3 space heaters oscillating.
It's like 94 degrees in here.
Larry's wearing a scarf.
And a sweatshirt.
And he's cold.
I'm cold.
Larry, that's maybe it's the icy hand of death. I don't know what's going on. So we get kind of dark here with Larry.
Tough crew.
Yeah. Oh, so what else is going on in the Valley of Philadelphia?
Well, as we said, we got our big reunion coming up here in Saturday. We're going to do our illustrious Sammy Davis pin presentations to our members. As Secretary of the Valley, I opted to have the certificate mailed out to all our veteran members because a lot of our guys aren't going to be able to make the reunion, but the ones that are coming are going to get their pins. And there's a little bit of a rivalry in the Valley because we have so many Army guys, so many Air Force, so many Marines, and so many Navy, and we have 2 Coast Guard guys, but who counts those?
Well, they're no longer in the Department of Defense.
Well, actually, they were DOT until after 9/11. They became Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all right. We got 2 coasties in the Valley, and I always give them a hard time. I say when you have a bad day at sea, you can walk home. But
Yeah.
we have our rivalries in the Valley as far as the military services go. And I hate to admit it, but this Saturday I got more Army guys coming than any other branch, which is fine. We'll do them. I got them listed alphabetical order, so they'll get their pins first, and then they can sit down and wait for the best because I'm saving. Navy's the last one, so we'll go up last. So.
Now you guys do something a little bit different. At the Valley of Philadelphia, don't you do your degrees in a lodge room?
In the round. We're in Gothic Hall where the commandery meets. We do it in the round.
I've not seen that. It sounds like that.
Come out and visit us anytime. We're normally on the 3rd Friday, but we're starting to gravitate towards Saturdays. So we're going to start. We're having, like I said, this Saturday we're doing some work, and but we do our work in the round, and it makes for a unique experience. We just had 2 years ago, we had the Valley of Chicago came out and did a reunion with us, and they did the 19th degree, and then we did the 32nd. And matter of fact, your buddy Frank Lorene that you guys were just talking about, Frank did the Prince of Darkness part for that, matter of fact, it was the night we went to Delaware for Fellowship Night. Mm-hmm. We went down to Delaware for Fellowship Night, and we stopped at a local package store down there, and we went back to Frank's house after the meeting, and we're sitting there just sampling this taste of the stuff, and Frank's like, I really want to jazz up that Prince of Darkness part, because we got this really unique costume.
Have a second drink.
Well, no, what we did was, because the costume we got's got a big cowl on it, and we have the lights turned down at Gothic Hall, and I said, maybe if we could find some kind of like red glowing light type thing to put where the eyes are. Frank went out and found these red framed glasses, and while he's doing the part, these lights, they come on, they get brighter, then they start flashing. It's really unique. I mean, but yeah, he does that. And that's when we do a degree, Larry. I think you call them plays.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I remember you said that. Yeah, I listen to you guys.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. But we do our work in the round. It's unique. I mean, we've had some people from other valleys that come down, especially when we do the 14th degree. Matter of fact, I had some guys from Allentown one time sitting right in front of my desk, and when we did the aeroba, like, wow, we don't do that in our valley. We got to sit and watch the exemplars on the stage. Your whole class gets to be part of it. Yeah, go ahead, go out and get in the circle. We don't care,
Yeah, I look at our Valley of Lancaster. We have a huge, big auditorium, and we'll fill up a few rows in this auditorium, and I just feel like the amount of unless like when people come from Harrisburg and Reading, the crowd gets a little bit bigger, but we could all pack into one of those lodge rooms. It would just feel a lot more intimate and a lot more powerful.
Well, we're in Gothic, and Gothic is a big enough room, but it's also intimate enough where we just put a new sound system in there, and the sounds are great now. But it's intimate enough where it's not too spread out. Like when Chicago was here, we expected a big crowd, so they put us down in Corinthian, and we kind of got lost in that place. I mean, because even with the lavaliers, that sound, that ceiling in there, everything just goes right up. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that we have Gothic Hall because it's more compact. It's big enough for to get a crew in there, a lot of people and all. And we do get we average about for our monthly reunions, we average anywhere from 125 to 150 people.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, but we have a meeting on Friday nights. We also include the ladies, so the guys can bring their wife down for dinner. She has dinner with us, and then they have a ladies program while we're upstairs. They always have some kind of entertainment or something. It's always fun for them. And I've had ladies tell me a lot of times that's why he's at Scottish Rite, because she wants to come out and see her girlfriends. So that's a good plus for us.
And Rick, are you a New Jersey Mason?
I do belong to a chapter in a commandery in New Jersey, but for the most part, I'm in Philadelphia doing it.
Okay, yeah, because they're I always wonder because their degree work's just different than ours, and see if you get confused.
Well, this
Is New Jersey recognized by our Grand Lodge?
Yeah, it is, Larry.
And we do have running water too.
Well, at least South Jersey is. I don't know about North, not the Soprano Italians up north.
all bets are off after that.
Larry's right to ask these questions because New Jersey is the one state you have to pay to leave.
That's right.
That's true.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on. You can stay with us. We're just going to wrap up this segment, but we would like you to stay on until the end of the show.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Give us the High 12 website.
PAHigh12.org.
Very cool. There we go.
There's that
the sound effects.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.
Unlocking Symbols with Symbologist Michelle Snyder.
Jack and Jill unlocked. One thing that must be understood before we have an effective golden key is the process of palimpsest. This is a technique whereby old ink is scraped off papyrus and new writing put on, yet shades of the old writing always show through. Symbols and folklore also have layers, yet elements of the original story or image are still there. Recognizing these layers is an important process in decoding symbolism and extracting hidden information. Jack and Jill is a popular kids' rhyme. One version goes, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Up Jack got, and home did trot, as fast as he could caper, to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper. According to Duncan Ensman, the broken crown does not refer to the royalty that lost their heads. This part of the poem is much older than those events. It merely means Jack hurt his head, the crown of the body. The end of this version is palimpsest. Jack runs home to his nursemaid to fix his boo-boo with vinegar and brown paper, and no mention is made of Jill. Vinegar and brown paper were used medicinally at one time. Paper is made from wood, and the immune system of wood continues to work, even after it is cut and processed. Thus wood and paper kill germs, as does vinegar. The bigger question to ask is why they would go up a hill to get water. Water flows downhill. 7,000 years ago it was known that the water from the chalk hills of Britain was very clean. The tops of the hills were shallow bowls in which collected rain and dew. The water in the pools on top was not clean. Birds pooped there. But the water that drained down through the chalk hill, a good filter, flowed out springs on the sides and was sparkling clean. Jack and Jill would have climbed most of the way up the hill to fill their buckets from these springs. Images that show Jack and Jill approaching a well are palimpsest. This ending in this version is closer to what the original would have been. Then up got Jack and said to Jill, as in his arms he took her, "Brush off that dirt, for you're not hurt. Let's fetch that pail of water." So Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch the pail of water and took it home to Mother Dear, who thanked Jack and her daughter. This poem dates to the warm Atlantic centuries around 5000 BC. Children would have been tasked with fetching water, as is said in many old stories, and Mother would have been the recipient of the water, being responsible for the care of the home and those who lived in it. This wording suggests that Jack and Jill were not brother and sister, which many assume to be the case. Oral tradition also teaches character and principles. In this version, Jack gets up and tells Jill she's okay, and that they will keep going, teaching children to get up and try again, a good ethic to learn. Remember, peeling away and identifying the layers is a big part of the golden key. For more like this, read Symbology Revision, available online. Next time, we will uncover the secrets of the beauty and her beast.
If you'd like to take a deeper look, be sure to check out Michelle's book, Symbology Revision. A link for purchase can be found on the Freya Foundation website. That's freafoundation.net. While you're there, take a look at some of Michelle's other works and find out more about the Freya Foundation and its mission to research and publish the Ensman archives. It's time for the Lodge Business Brief with Brother Jim Stevens.
Well, again, Masonic Light Podcast listeners, this is Jim Stevens with another Lodge Business Brief. Does your lodge have problems? If there aren't any yet, there will be some time in the future. Being prepared to handle them is critical to the success of any leader. In previous episodes, we discussed issue lists, agendas, and goal setting. Each of these are important steps to preventing and handling problems, but at some point a problem will still arrive that needs to be solved. The business world is awash in books discussing how to solve problems. Many of them are just as valid as the others. One technique that I like is the 5 Why technique. It was originally developed by Sakichi Toyota. You can Google 5 Whys and find a great deal written about it and how to implement it, but in general, it works this way. The investigator needs to keep asking why until they have gotten to the root cause of the problem. You'll know you're at the root cause because the answer circles back to a previously provided answer or has a basic human element. It will take a few whys, not necessarily 5, to get to the root cause. The key to success with this technique is to not imitate a 2-year-old and just keep asking why continuously. What you need to do is ask specific questions starting with why and then listen to the answer. Then ask each why again in reflection of that previously provided answer. Then you will work on each answer in a proportional way as to the size and complexity of the problem. Slight improvements on each identified answer and cause will improve the entire situation. For example, if a lodge notice was mailed late, the first answer to why it was mailed late may be that it did not arrive at the post office on time. Asking why it did not arrive at the post office on time reveals that the print house had a machine break, delaying the printing. Asking why the print house had a machine break resulted in the equipment is old and it's not well maintained. Asking why it isn't well maintained reveals that the owner doesn't want to pay for the preventative maintenance. In response to each of these answers, the lodge can decide what to do. For example, it could move the deadline up to the print house. It could create a system that works around the post office, such as email. It could change formats, use a different style of printer, change print house altogether, change formats, or it may ask the print house to invest in new equipment. Without asking the additional whys, we often stop at the first answer, and the problem keeps coming back. We need to keep digging until we find the root cause of each problem. Additional ideas on how to solve problems can be found in my book, Lodge Business, Theoretical Application of Entrepreneurial Business Practices to Blue Lodge, available on Amazon. This is Jim Stevens with your Lodge Business Brief.
And we're back. So let's wrap up tonight's show. What do you guys got going on coming up? Anything beyond what you've already talked about?
Yeah, just maybe in your regular
Masonic life. Rick, let's start with you.
Well, other than the quarterly coming up, I do have a couple more presentations that we're doing in Blue Lodges for High 12. Again, we do have the Valley Reunion this Saturday, where I'll be taking part in the 18th degree. Steve?
This coming Tuesday night, you and I will be at Temple Melita chapter for our past high priest and Veterans Night.
Yeah.
Both Rick and I are both past high priests.
That seems to be the key to a million more secret things.
Yes.
Like, once you're in Royal Arch, you can be a member of certain secret things that people don't know about. And then if you're a past high priest, there's even more secret things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we have, down in Philly, we got the Joshua Association. That's, if you guys have something like that here, we have that. And then those secret things, well,
they're not secret anymore.
We both belong to Light Masons and AMD and stuff like that, yeah.
Larry, are you,
how about you
planning on doing anything?
Well, yeah, rehearsal tomorrow night for 17th degree.
Larry, do you have a speaking part?
No.
So what are you going to rehearse?
Basically to know where I'm supposed to walk and stand. And, of course, reunion on Saturday. Grand Tall Ball in York at the Country Club on Saturday night. It's one of those Masonic weekends.
I have to ask, does the Grand Tall Ball have a height requirement?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
It's going to be a long
So the York Grand Tall Ball is actually really cool. They meet at the York Country Club, and it's weird. Like, we, especially in Lancaster, we pick on York because it's like the I don't know, the crappy little sister of Lancaster. But they have a country club that is old and is old-timey money.
Okay.
And it is old and crusty, and it is beautiful. And I wandered into the basement, into the, I guess it's the clubhouse locker room. And I was completely amazed because I don't make enough money to belong to a country club. So when I'm like looking around, there's every kind of aftershave you can think of. I was fascinated by the Barbasol, like with the washers, the combs and the blue washer fluid. Yeah, I'm just like, wow, I can comb my hair. Wow.
I remember that you came upstairs later on with a new makeover.
Well, yeah, because I had my hair all messed up.
You have to tip somebody to get those, though?
Yeah, then I came back up, my hair was like slicked back like Clark Gable.
Nice.
Oh, Josh, do you have anything going on?
Not between now and next show, no.
Okay.
Actually, we all have something coming up before our next show airs, and that's Ubar Grotto on the 24th.
Oh, yeah.
Anything special about this event?
No, not really. It's just going to be Jack's last one before we do our voting. But that's the big thing. As most of you all had indicated, involved in Scottish Rite this weekend, the Valley of Harrisburg, Friday and Saturday as well. And then immediately starting in December, it's election season for all the Blue Lodges around, and our own Josh is going to be officially elected.
Are you going to install yourself?
And
I think so, yeah.
Congratulations.
So,
Nice.
I have all the proper
You're
lists.
past master. You're not a past master, right?
Nope.
We have to show up for his special thing.
And make it fun.
Make it fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll try that.
Yeah.
That lodge outlawed fun in the 1800s. I don't know.
Actually, if you want to come to a fun installation, come here.
Yeah, for the past master's
Ephrata Lodge
degree here, they do a great
665,
job.
665. It is the most fun installation ceremony I've ever seen. They do all the ritual part they're supposed to do.
Don't spoil it.
But there
It's
is
fun.
some
Just
fun.
say it's fun.
There is some
It's
fun.
Educational.
It is
Yes.
very
It's a learning
educational.
experience.
Remember,
Yes, it
I
is.
did go through past master's degree in London.
That doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
You were in the wrong room.
Larry fell asleep.
You fell asleep
Larry
and
fell
woke up
asleep.
in the middle of it.
Wait, you know Frank?
That was a language barrier. I had no idea what they were talking about.
And if anybody has any free time in the next couple of weeks, I have, I think I counted 416 dues cards I have to send out. So
I'm trying to sell fruit baskets for the valley for the
have an envelope stuffing party at my house.
Lancaster Forest. All right, go. Larry, take us out of here.
It's time to go.
Cue
the chickens. Maybe. Hey.
A special thanks to Ever Lodge 665 for continuing to make this studio possible. And we hope they will continue beyond. Whatever.
Larry, we paid our rent.
Yeah, we did. Thanks to Josh Lamberton, producer and director, who continues to make the show listenable. Thanks to Jack Harley, our news. Wait a minute. Who's Jack?
Oh, Jack.
He's on leave of absence.
No news tonight.
Jack is serving a one-game suspension.
He's doing his one-game suspension.
And to Tim Dedman, marketing director. Steve, you want to talk about marketing director for this show?
Sure. What do you want me to tell?
We will double Tim's salary.
To our Masonic Light contributors, Michelle Snyder and Jim Stevens, I have one thing for you.
Don't tell us that same joke again.
No, do any of you guys know why Master Masons wear aprons?
Go ahead.
I have no, Larry. Why do
Master Masons wear
aprons?
aprons?
To hide their working tools. This is Larry Merris. Good night, and thanks for listening.
This is Tim.
That was actually kind of funny.
That was.
This is Josh.
This is Rick.
This is Steve, the communications director. I'm communicating.
He's
And
communicating.
this is Pete, and we don't know where Jack is. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hide their working